That day did not begin with flashing cameras or the cheers of fans. There was no official announcement, no sensational post on social media. And yet, it was precisely in that quiet simplicity that an unexpected moment was born, one that slowly but deeply moved the hearts of many. It became a touching day, a day when a secret gift from Tian Xuning to Ziyu was finally revealed, carrying emotions that could no longer be hidden. For a long time, Tian Xuning and Ziyu have been known as two individuals who always appear calm, professional, and composed in the public eye. They rarely show their personal sides, let alone emotions that feel too exposed. But behind those restrained expressions and subtle smiles, there was a depth of care, sincere, attentive, and deeply personal. Everything began on what seemed like an ordinary day. A packed schedule, endless activities, and overwhelming exhaustion had become inseparable parts of their daily lives. Ziyu went through the day as he always did, focused, disciplined, and seemingly unshaken by fatigue. Yet Tian Xuning noticed something others missed. He saw a different kind of silence, eyes that lingered a little longer in emptiness, and a smile that no longer fully reached the eyes. Tian Xuning was never the type to speak excessively. He did not express care through grand words or dramatic gestures. And perhaps that was why every action he took carried meaning. On that day, he had prepared something. Not an extravagant gift meant to display luxury, nor a grand surprise designed for public attention. It was something simple, but deeply meaningful, a secret known only to him and Ziyu. When the moment finally came, Tian Xuning handed over the gift without many words. No speech, no long explanation. Just a small smile and a look filled with sincerity. Ziyu froze for a moment. He did not open it immediately. There was hesitation, curiosity, and an emotion quietly rising within him. When the gift was finally revealed, time seemed to pause. What lay inside might have appeared ordinary to others, but to Ziyu, it was a fragment of memory, a symbol of care, and proved that someone truly understood him. That gift carried echoes of struggles, exhaustion, and silent moments he had endured alone. The tears gathering in Ziyu's eyes were not tears of sadness. They were tears of relief. Tears of feeling seen, understood, and appreciated. For the first time in a long while, he did not need to pretend to be strong. He did not need to hide his emotions. The gift seemed to whisper, "I know you're tired. I know how hard you've been trying. And I'm here." Ziyu's reaction left Tian Xuning momentarily speechless. He had not expected the impact to be that profound. Yet behind his calm expression, there was a quiet sense of relief. He did not seek public recognition. For him, it was enough that Ziyu understood the meaning behind it. Enough that the gift could serve as a reminder that Ziyu was not alone. News of that moment slowly spread, not through official statements, but through subtle reactions, fragments of stories, and emotions that could not be fully concealed. Fans began to speculate, trying to decode the meaning behind the gift. Social media filled with discussions, interpretations, and growing curiosity. But what made that day truly touching was not the public reaction, it was the honesty of the emotions shared between the two. In a world filled with expectations and constant scrutiny, they created a small, safe space, one where feelings did not need to be disguised, and care did not need to be announced. That secret gift became a symbol of something far greater. It represented trust, quiet support, and a bond formed without labels or explanations. For Ziyu, that day would forever remain a memory of being truly understood. For Tian Xuning, it was proof that even the smallest gesture of care could leave an unforgettable impact. The day eventually passed, but the emotional imprint remained. Every smile afterward, every shared glance, seemed to carry a new meaning. There was no dramatic change announced to the public, yet something was undeniably different. There was a warmer atmosphere, a deeper sense of trust. In the end, that touching day delivered a simple yet profound message: the most valuable gifts are not measured by price, but by their ability to reach the heart. And amid the noise of the entertainment world, the story of Tian Xuning's secret gift to Ziyu stands as a quiet reminder that sincerity still exists softly, silently, but powerfully. After that day, nothing was officially said, yet everything subtly changed. The atmosphere between Tian Xuning and Ziyu carried a quiet warmth that could not be forced or fabricated. It was not something obvious enough to be pointed out, but it was there in the way conversations lingered a little longer, in the pauses that no longer felt empty, and in the calm understanding that seemed to flow effortlessly between them. Ziyu, who had always carried himself with quiet resilience, appeared lighter in the days that followed. The weight he had long shouldered did not disappear, but it felt shared now. The secret gift became something he returned to in moments of exhaustion, not as a physical object alone, but as a reminder that someone had noticed the battles he never voiced. For Tian Xuning, that moment reaffirmed something he had always believed but rarely expressed: that care does not need an audience to be real. He continued his days as usual, composed and reserved, yet there was a deeper attentiveness in his actions. He listened more closely, observed more carefully, and responded not out of obligation, but genuine concern. Fans, ever observant, began to sense the shift. Small interactions were analyzed, fleeting expressions replayed, and subtle gestures discussed endlessly. Yet no theory could fully capture what had truly happened, because the heart of that moment was never meant for public interpretation. It belonged solely to the two people at its center. What made the story endure was not the mystery surrounding the gift, but the sincerity behind it. In an industry driven by performance and perception, Tian Xuning and Ziyu unintentionally revealed something rare: a connection built on quiet empathy rather than spectacle. It reminded many that the most meaningful bonds often form in silence, far from the spotlight. As time moved forward, that touching day became less about a single moment and more about what followed: steadiness, trust, and an unspoken promise of support. No matter how demanding the days became, that shared understanding remained, grounding them when the world felt overwhelming. And so, the story of that secret gift did not end when it was opened. It continued in the calm that followed, in the strength it quietly gave, and in the knowledge that sometimes, the most powerful act